Alright guys, who's heard of cryptocurrency? Raise your hand, no? If you didn't raise your hand, I was with you until about 6 weeks ago. I had no idea what cryptocurrency was. I didn't know what it stood for, crypto, what that's like numbers, something coded and coding. I decided to dive right in and really figure out what it was. And ultimately, it's the future. It's where everything's going. When you think about our advancement in mail, now we sit here and we deliver everything electronically, like nobody even likes to get their mail. I mean, people were waiting at the mail, looking at the mail. The only thing we care about the mail for now, I mean, basically is maybe if your bank sends you a new debit card because you lost it or it got compromised while you were shopping online. And nowadays, I mean, with Amazon, that's the only real reason everyone's waiting for the mail. You know, whenever I lived in a foreign country for an extended period of time, it was a giant pain to be able to send money home if I wanted to put money in my bank account. It's extremely cumbersome. If you're an American, there's weird rules, which we'll talk about a different time, especially newer ones, as far as you opening up a bank account overseas. I mean, let's say you had an emergency and someone needs to Western Union someone money somewhere else. I mean, it's gonna be an expensive fee. Money is a store of value that's easily transferable and dividable. A lot of people think money is what the government tells me money is, right? That's what we like to call fiat currency. Fiat currency is currency that has no real intrinsic value, but it's worth something because of a government stamp on it. Sound familiar? So when you have fiat money, the problem with it is governments can spend more, they can print more. Fiat currency is actually inflationary. You know, you ever wonder why a Coke used to cost 5 cents and now you walk into a Circle K and it's $1.50? Way. Cryptocurrency, there's actually a finite number. Well, it depends on the currency, but there's a set number of the currency that can be created that can never be replicated or duplicated. Cryptocurrencies are decentralized, which means that there's no middle person that has control of the entire system, such as the banks. Imagine being able to send someone money instantaneously, and you say, well, I can already do that. I can Venmo someone, I can use the Cash App, I can use my bank. That's not the same. That has to actually go through the bank. With cryptocurrency, it's about instantaneous. It's just between those people. Nobody else gets notified. Never hearing 3 to 5 days processing time. Not having to go to the bank. No credit fraud. I can send cryptocurrency to my dad instantly. $10. QR code. I'm gonna scan it, and instantly it already popped up with his address. Feel free to send him some Litecoin.
Didn't even look like you got a good scan on.
There is a small network fee that's very, very small built into the cost of the transaction. And I'm gonna send it. Let's see if he's gotten it yet.
There it is. Receive
And there it is in real time. If you go and read online, you'll read stories about people not being allowed to pay their mortgage in cash. Like, why would you not be able to pay your mortgage in cash? If cash isn't king, I don't know what is. India actually just eliminated, was equivalent to about our $20 bill. So imagine all of a sudden if a government decided to get rid of the 20. Japan just decided yesterday that they were not going to tax Bitcoin. Australia is reviewing about making it legal. There's so much information on the internet nowadays. If you just open up your eyes and don't pay attention to just mainstream media, you'll find out what's going on a little bit and you'll have a much better clue. I'm really excited to talk about cryptocurrency a little bit more in the future. All of the possibilities that come with taking the exchange of money, letting the people in the free market decide how that works instead of the banks. Yeah, I hope that it shows people that it's not the most complicated thing in the world. If you look at a lot of the accounts on YouTube right now or look through a lot of Google searches, you'll find a lot of information that can be helpful, but a lot of it's also really confusing. So with me having just gotten into cryptocurrency in the last 6 weeks approximately, I think I should be able to break it down in the most simple form. That way the masses can understand it without having to do the research that I did and without having to put in the time and energy that I did. I did it for you guys. So I hope you guys learned something. I hope it pushes you to look into Bitcoin and a couple of the other ones. Maybe you've heard of Ethereum, Litecoin. But cryptocurrency currently has about $100 billion market caps. I mean, it's relatively small if you want to compare it to, I don't know, an individual company like Apple or someone's net worth like Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg. But if you were to look at it and what it's done since 2009, since we were first introduced to cryptocurrency from Satoshi Nakamoto. By the way, nobody knows who that is. The first cryptocurrency was actually posted on Reddit and from an anonymous person named Satoshi Nakamoto. It's kind of interesting. And the community kind of looked at it and wasn't sure if it was real, and then they built it. And now Bitcoin currently is sitting at a $46 billion market cap approximately. One Bitcoin currently is about $2,600 today. When it first came out, I mean, it was worth pennies on the dollar. I mean, people had no idea. They thought it was like nerd money. It was like, yeah, right, like that's never going to make it mainstream. Now you have petitions for Amazon to accept it. You have some of the biggest airlines in other countries starting to accept it. I read an article the other day talking about a preschool in somewhere on the East Coast accepting Bitcoin and Ethereum for payment. Think about that. And you have hundreds, if not thousands, of merchants starting to accept it in Japan. So if you look at that, I mean, imagine in 3 to 5 years if everybody accepted cryptocurrency here or Bitcoin. I mean, we're just starting to have Apple Pay to where people can conceptualize moving money without actually ever seeing it or touching it or holding it or exchange it, just electronically. Every time you see a transaction done with Apple Pay or Android Pay or something like that, that should be encouraging about cryptocurrency, because that means that it's one step closer to adoption. I think we're at least 5 years out from main. Currently, a Bitcoin's $2,500 about. The price is constantly moving based on the transactions and how much a Bitcoin was purchased for. However, so I know that seems like a lot, but you can actually buy as small amount of Bitcoin as you want, up to 8 decimal points. And so there's some people who think in the future the smallest dividable amount of Bitcoin would be equal to about $1. And for that to happen, Bitcoin would have to go from right now, which is about $42 billion market cap, to about $1 trillion. So the graphic I'm about to show you is going to break down everything. So if you go ahead and look at this graphic, you'll see all the way down here Bitcoin only at, I think, 41 billion. Continue to look at it and you see it's really just peanuts compared to what it could be. When you start looking in world currency amounts, it's extremely small. With the people saying that it can go to $1 trillion by 2020 or 2022, that's 3 to 5 years, which would be on pace where I think is the mainstream adoption. You could have one Bitcoin going for anywhere from 250,000 up to 500,000. I mean, there's some people who predict the market cap of Bitcoin to go to about 3.2 trillion in the next half decade. Such a new space, nobody knows. So any of the speculation you see is rough speculation, but there are a few numbers to back it up. And if you look at the history of Bitcoin and how much it's grown yearly to date, it's very, very, very intriguing. It's definitely the best investment over the course of that time period in the world. Unprecedented. So we're going to talk about this a future time. I'm going to create a cryptocurrency video that gets more into it in depth for the beginner. I'm really excited about the future of cryptocurrency. I can't wait to share some more information with you guys. I hope you have a great day. Live life to the max.